Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today we are going to take a fully spoilery look at Chapter 59 of Kaiju number 8. Now, this chapter is what I call true fan service. This chapter serves up a dish of everything we know we wanted, mixed in with bits of what we didn't know we wanted, and garnished it with a spice of giving us new things to want. But first, this is the spoiler version of the review, so I will give you all a chance to click away now by going and taking a look at the links below my video. Those will take you to my books, Humans Are Weird, I Have the Data, and Humans Are Weird, We Took a Vote, Monty Python Meets Star Trek, and these short story collections of human absurdity. Now, back to the spoilers. Now the fan service. Mwah! Captain Sheena Maya, Director General Sheena Maya's beloved wife, Kikoru Sheena Maya's adoring mother, the most powerful captain that the Defense Force could field back in the day. They're beautiful, they're deadly, Valkyrie. We wanted to see more of her. We saw more of her. Just a moment, but there she was in all her glory, glaring down at Kaiju number 6. We get a great look at the dethroned king of the monsters right off the bat, and he does not disappoint. This big reveal killed multiple theories of mine dead and caught me nearly completely off guard, all while it set up the massive amount of trouble our belovedly sus boy Reno is in, while using entire arcs of previous chapters to build our expectations, and once more displaying the beautiful dedication to both science and storytelling, Matsumoto is quickly making his hallmark. I had no idea we were going to see the flashback to the pre-disassembly Kaiju number 6 in this chapter. I definitely had no idea that this flashback was going to give us so much in just one panel. He is giant. Kaiju number 6, when we see him out in the bay striding through the waters of the Pacific like they are a pond. Look at the way his legs are moving. Specifically, look at the angle of his right thigh. He isn't just walking forward lightly, he is forcing his legs through shin-deep water. That alone takes a toll on you, especially if you're unused to it. And this is Kaiju number 6's first time on the surface. The artillery aside, His Majesty is having just a little bit of trouble just walking. On a side note, I would not be surprised if the Kaiju Defense Force had deliberately lined the floor of the bay with obstacles like caltrops that made it hard for a biped to walk, as Godzilla-style kaiju are so common in this world. That would make sense, we will see, but His Majesty is having to focus on just walking right now, because look at his right arm. It is raised in the exact angle to counterbalance the careful forward motion of his left thigh. And look behind him. Count them. Four swaying tails. Here is the beautiful link between mythology and hard biomechanics for this chapter. Biomechanically, those big theropod dinosaurs like T-Rex, who's incidentally been switched out into 3 separate species now, needed that long, powerful tail to balance the fantastic weight of their heads and bodies. This is why Godzilla has that classic tail in the first place. It's a counterweight. Kaiju number 6, being so much larger than the little 7.4 kaijus that are surrounding it, needs more tail, but one super long tail would be awkward and biologically impractical to have anything that far from the heart, so 4 smaller tails that can constantly move and shift for balance makes far more sense. And of course, if you are reading this manga, you are most likely aware of the concept of multi-tailed beasts, creatures like foxes and cats born with or growing more than one tail. The 9-tailed fox, the 2-tailed cat. This is a mythological symbol of these creatures' supernatural power, a visual shorthand for a creature that is more than natural. This design is just so much. Then, off to the side, we see the supposedly smaller Godzilla-type monsters. First, there's the Godzilla connections. These kaijus that are mere servants of the larger, the greater thing, yet they are equal to the image of the king of monsters that is seared into the imaginations of every television-watching human on either side of the Pacific. If you have no idea what manga is, you still have a clear mental image in your head of what Godzilla is, of what he is capable of. Then, they are nearly identical to the 7.4 beast we saw Captain Jin Narumi take down back when he was introducing the 1st Division to Kokoru. The beast that trained and prepositioned artillery can do nearly 20 years after this, barely do anything to 20 years after this date. All that they could do in that chapter back then was direct those beasts, like we saw the 1st Division do. That gives us an instant feel for the power level of these servants, and therefore the power level of their king. This is the comment. Then you have the comment about the snowstorm, ice, freezing, and this provides a connection back to Reno and his thematic connection to Kaiju number 8. Reno uses freeze rounds. Kaiju number 8 was on ice. This is so beautifully done. Matsumoto, if you can pull this off, take all the month-long breaks you need. So, Reno, our best boy, our main character's precious Kohai, the suspicious one who just might have been in league with the little kaiju that started all of this, the one who took a formal punishment just to reassure the chained Kafka that he had his back. That Reno is gearing up to take the massive burden of the mind-boggling power we saw in that last panel on his shoulders. We get to see his first confrontation with the Numbers Weapon 6, and just like with the Numbers Weapon 2 and with Kafka's relationship with the little guy, we see the looming head of the monster overwhelming Reno in his mindscape. And in a show of how mature this manga is, Reno absolutely can't master even a fragment of Kaiju number 6's power on his first go. Aiharu is even there to greet Reno in the hospital room and to press him to give up the idea of wielding this number's weapon. But Reno is absolutely focused on protecting Kafka, on understanding what Kafka is going through. And once more, this is a Shonen Jump manga. It is entirely within the realm of not even possibility. It's entirely within the realm of probability that this is just the standard Shonen Jump dedication of a manga. But have I mentioned how suspicious Matsumoto has made me of common shonen tropes? What we're seeing here, this emotional dedication in Reno, that could also be the guilt of the one responsible for dropping the weight of Kaiju number 8 on the shoulders of the man who saved his life. This could also be Reno manning up and forcing himself to be willing to accept the same burden that he placed on Kafka's shoulders. Interestingly enough, the close-up of Kaiju number 6, we get an interesting visual link between Kaiju number 6 and Kaiju number 8 to carry on this theme of similarity. If you look at Kaiju number 6's mouth in the small panel on the upper left-hand side of page 3, you will see that he appears to have two mouths. One normally positioned mouth in his jaws, and one that stretches behind that back to the back of his neck, just like Kaiju number 8. Added to this, Kaiju number 6 has the same jet black scaled skin that Kaiju number 8 has. Interesting. Does all this mean that Reno is driven by guilt to bear the same burden he inflicted on Kafka? We don't know. We can't know. Either Reno is the best boy, innocent and pure manga protagonist that we think him to be, or he has a very dark past that we can't even begin to imagine, and he is desperately trying to make up for his sins. Matsumoto has hidden his motivations in plain sight as common shonen tropes once again, and I, for one, am paranoid. Now, on a side note, who else thinks that the subordinate who briefed our beloved Captain Shinomiya grew up to be the traditional hard drinker 4th Division Captain Jugo Ogata? Anyway, there's just so much in this chapter. You can bet your booty I'm getting a lot more videos out of this. But for now, hit that like and subscribe button. If you've already subscribed, check to make sure YouTube didn't unsubscribe you. And peace out, my wonderful viewers. Humans are weird. We took a vote, and humans are weird. I have the data. 2 books in a series of human absurdity. Go check out these short story collections. What will our little green friends think of us when we finally do make it to space? Find out the answer in 2 books of human absurdity. Humans Are Weird, we took a vote, and Humans Are Weird, I have the data. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and Google Play.